I will be doing a quick tank review for the Soviet Tier 3 Premium Medium Tank, the T-29. This tank, you would have had gotten it for free over Christmas break if you completed a certain set of missions. The tank itself, it is not that good nor bad for being a freebie premium tank for a Soviet medium tank crew trainer at this TO. This tank, it plays just like the T-28 for the most part, so there is not much of a play style difference or a learning curve. The T-29, just like the previous tank, it's based on the T-28. As long as you use the appropriate tactics in this tank, you can do quite well in this tank. Let's get into the vehicle stats themselves. The vehicle stats. What is the tank good at exactly? It have a relatively okay gun at this tier, with a decent amount of hit points, relatively good spotting range, and can take a few hits before it is killed at this tier. Besides that, it have terrible camouflage rating, paper thin armor, so if you're at the wrong place at the wrong time, this tank can be killed easily enough. Let's begin off with the firepower. Before I get into the gun itself, this tank have a commander, gunner, driver, radio operator, and a radio operator, so pretty close to the T-28 crew. The gun itself, it is a 76mm howitzer at this TO. Rate of fire is okay, about 12 rounds per minute, which it can land about 1300 damage per minute in theory, which is pretty nice. The penetration value for its tier, it is pretty good, as you can penetrate most tanks easily enough from the side and rear. Besides that, certain tanks you will be going up against at tier 3 and 4 area, you will have a problem penetrating them from the front using normal AP and heat sometimes, based upon what tank you're going up against. The damage output, it is okay, 110, so you can do a reliable amount of damage in a short amount of time, if you're at the right place at the right time. While the accuracy and aiming time, it is rubbish. 0.53 and 2.2 for the aiming time with a fully trained crew. It have a relatively quick load time, about 5 seconds or less, so you can fire many shots off in a short amount of time, while having a fantastic turret traverse speed of 36. Due to how the tank is built, the mini turret seals are a major weak spot, which will actually affect the gun depression of the turret by a bit. 5 degrees of gun depression downward all around, that is pretty bad. So you will have a problem to get your gun down all the way at times based upon what type of map and terrain you're on. Sort of like the Soviet heavy tank gun depression at times. Gun elevation, it is fantastic at 25 upward. Now, the survivability, as I said, it is rubbish. Hit points 250, you can survive a few hits before you're killed, while the armor, it is utterly rubbish. Hull, it is 30 in the front, side rear 20, turret armor, it is 20 all around. Due to the armor being somewhat angled in the front here and some of the angling on the turrets here on the left and right, if you angle the armor well enough at times, you can ricochet a few rounds. Besides that, everything will penetrate the armor for the most part as it's paper thin, with the armor being paper thin in the front, sides, and rear, especially from the top here. The crew members and modules, they can be damaged easily enough, especially from a well-placed shot from the front or side to get a damaged ammo rack. Now the mobility, it is relatively mobile enough for being close to a heavy tank size for a medium tank, for weighing about almost 29 tons with a 500 horsepower engine. You have about 17.5 horsepower to 1 ton, which is pretty good as you can easily reach the vehicle top speed of 45 kilometers as long as you go in a straight line on flat terrain or going downhill easily enough, while the reverse speed is pretty good at 20. Combined with the turret traverse of 36 and the hull traverse of 48, this tank can turn around quickly enough due to the height of the tank, especially with some of these smaller tanks that you will be going up against if they choose to hug your side. Based upon what size of the tank they are, you may have a problem aiming the gun down all the way to shoot at them, so having backup can counter that problem at times. The concealment is utterly rubbish. 12 when not moving, 9 on the move. While the vehicle spotting, it is okay for this tier. 300 meters, and the radial signal range, it is about 300 meters. This tank, as it is a premium tank, you have nothing to research for the most part. The engine itself, it have a 20% chance for engine fire, so be careful about that as this tank can potentially be set on fire easily enough. Besides for that, now I will be covering the consumables, the ammunition layout, the equipment, and how are you going to be using the T-29. Let's begin off with the consumables. Consumables at this tier, you may or may not want to use them. If you are going to be using any consumables, I would recommend the small first aid kit, the small repair kit, the removed speed governor. It's not bad if you want to turn it on and off when need be to get to the top speed more quickly. And then for the permanent consumable, as long as you don't use it, you get a nice permanent bonus from the large first aid kit or the large repair kit. Both of them are pretty nice as it reduces the vehicle's stats by a bit. The vehicle carries a good amount of ammo, 67 rounds of ammo, which means most of the time you will never ever run out of ammo in this match. 67 rounds, it is a lot of ammo for the tank of this size. The majority of the ammo you will be using, it is AP and HE. Most of the time, AP can penetrate most of the targets easily enough, while HE it is useful against the semi-armored targets you will be going up against at tier 3 and 4 areas still. Heat at this tier, you may want to use it if you want to, but with 75 millimeters of pen at this tier and paying either 7 gold or 2,800 gold per shot, personally it's not worth the credit investment in the rounds. Heat would maybe be useful against some of the more heavily armored targets at tier 3 and 4 area, but generally flanking them work most of the time to penetrate their weaker armor areas, if you know the armor tank layout. Now, the equipment. The equipment that I find to be quite useful on this tank to improve it by a bit. The toolbox to get your repairs done a bit more faster. The enhanced gun lane drive to reduce what is a long aiming time by 10%. If you want to go with a view range enhancements, either go with coated optics or binocular telescope for your own personal preference. The medium caliber tank gun rammer is pretty good. Combine this with the enhanced gun lane drive, you are gun performance, it is improved by a bit. Going down the list, at this tier, generally coated optics and binocular telescope is not all that effective unless if you want to play more of a passive scout slash support role at times. The wet ammo rack, it is sort of useful, but I generally find the wet ammo rack is more useful for Soviet medium tanks at the higher tier play. The improved ventilation class 2 improve the overall tank performance by a bit. And then the enhanced Christie suspension and the camouflage net, they are not all that useful on this tank here. Now, as a tier 3 tank, you have preferred matchmaking. You will see up to tier 4 tanks maximum, which is quite nice. So most of the targets you will be going up against, you can penetrate them easily enough, as long as you know where the enemy weak spots are, which is pretty nice because that will allow you to play this tank primarily as a very aggressive medium tank using Wolfpack tactics, as a support tank, or even as a flanking tank at times. Generally, you can do quite well most of the time as long as you play it as a very aggressive medium tank using Wolfpack tactics, being more of a support role or being a flanking type of medium tank. Besides that, all of the other roles that the T-29 can fill, they are not that great at. Besides maybe being a bit of a passive scout at times if you have the binocular telescope on. Besides that, generally stick to the 3 main roles that I mentioned. I have a replay to show you how well you can do in the T-29 tank, which I play this tank using somewhat aggressive tactics to do quite well in this tank. Let's go to that replay now. This replay that I will be showing you is of me playing the T-29 in somewhat of a very aggressive and a cautious play style in a tier 3 match. There are a decent number of T-29s, which I will begin to come across them in the match very soon to show you how well a T-29 can do against another T-29. Let me speed this replay up a bit to get to the front line here. Knowing the map well enough and enemy tactics, I get myself into an ambush position here to get some shots earlier off in the match here. From this position here, ambushing the enemy tanks, I try to lead my gun so I can have a chance to hit them at this range with the terrible gun accuracy. Seeing that it's just only me and another T-29, I'm trying to use the terrain here to hide my tank as much as possible so I can try to conserve the hit points of the tank here so I can save it for the push later on in the match here. The T-29, as it is pretty large, I have no problem hitting it at this range while doing a good amount of damage to it for 2 of the shots I did. The thing with the howitzer here is it's have a gun traverse arc like most howitzers, which you should be made aware of to take that into consideration when it comes to angling the gun to hit something when it comes to ranges like this. Now, with me taking the lead here, I have T29s behind me, so we can finish the enemy team off on the map here. With my loader dead from the small S35, the small there, the player injured the driver, which is on the left side of the turret there. With a injured driver, my effective speed is reduced drastically, so I cannot turn this tank around as quickly as I want to. Fortunately, this is getting close to the end of the match here, which is not a major issue, knowing that the T127 and the 6-ton there, it is somewhere in the JK line area. Knowing the artillery is there, I was very careful as to poke over quickly and shoot if it was there or not. My team did quite well, especially me in this match. My team and I did quite well, especially with me doing the most amount of damage on the team in this match, with me doing about 1,000 damage to show off the vehicle capacity to do a lot of damage in a short amount of time using this tank. Now, let's go to the garage to do a brief recap on the T29 tank. Let's do a brief recap on the T29 tank. The tank itself, for its tier, it is not that bad nor good for being a freebie. For having preferred matchmaking between tier 3 up to tier 4 maximum, it is not that bad of a premium tank to use at this tier, as long as you use the appropriate tactics and know what you're doing. You can do quite well in the T29. Just like the T28 and other tanks of its tier, using proper tactics, it is essential if you want to do quite well in this tank, as being at the wrong place at the wrong time and not using the proper tactic can get you killed. Besides that, as long as you play toward the T29 strengths and weaknesses, you can do quite well in this tank. As a premium tank overall, it's not that bad nor good for being a freebie tank. So this is going to be one of those freebie tanks that you will either like it or you will sell it for credits. Besides, for that bit, I hope that you learned a thing or two about the T29 and how to use it properly. If you like this video, leave a like, a comment, and even subscribe to my channel as well. Have a good day, everyone.